back to the unofficially named, but also kind of unofficially named Penciled In podcast.
Yeah, we're going with that.
Have we stuck with it?
We might as well stick with that. Yeah.
Nice one. Okie dokie. Welcome to Penciled In podcast. We talk wrestling. If you've never watched it before, this is only the second episode. So yeah, we just love wrestling from kind of the TV shows, WWE, AEW, to all across the indies, Brit Res, and we really want to kind of like talk about the indie shows that we go to with a little bit of the old Big Dub and the AEW, kind of like in New Japan and stuff thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
So with me I'm Mike, by the way. I'm terrible at this. I am Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Petter, producer Petter. Long suffering. And this is the wonderful Penciled In Nikki.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
And we are the Pip crew, I've decided.
The Pip crew.
It's like Pip's crew, but Pip.
Okay.
I have to. It's decided. No, it's not decided. It is not decided.
No.
I genuinely wrote that in the little script.
You came prepared.
I tried today.
I'm just bringing vibes.
There are points where it's like, just let Nikki go.
I'm bringing tea.
I will be intermittently placing a hot water bottle on my shoulder because for some reason it decided it didn't want a shoulder today. So ignore this.
It does look like a killer whale resting on the shoulder just for the white patch.
You can Photoshop it to look like some kind of, I don't know, something that looks really cool, like a little, I don't know, like a little dragon.
Oh, don't worry, I will.
If it was greener and brighter, we can totally do all sorts with that.
But we are going to talk about a few things on this episode. Yeah. We're going to talk about a little bit about the Royal Rumble because it happened, and we're also going to talk about some of the live shows that we went to last weekend. Myself and Mike went to Infamous, and Petter went to the Futureshock double header.
Yeah.
It just every time double feature. Science fiction. And then
stockings and everything for it.
I would love to see a Rocky Horror Futureshock.
I thought you were going to say I really wanted to see you in stockings until you finish that sentence.
Just pure. I want to see that purely to see what fit Tony Mike comes out in.
Oh,
that glamorous git.
He'd slay.
He'd slay. But and then we're going to talk about what we're going to be taking in this weekend. So what should we start with, the Rumble?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Rumble 2025. Start with the women's. It was I honestly I watched it back. So we watched it. We came back from the Infamous show, and we were already behind. We had the kiddo and her mate were here, so we had to get them sorted. So we just we had no time to really kind of sit and chill. So we were quite like on edge, ready to go.
We were still high from Infamous as well, so we were ready.
Totally ready. And I think watching it back, and I'm kind of on first opinions. The women's Rumble was really fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it. I wasn't a huge fan of the outcome and the winner. Which was seen from a great distance.
As soon as the music hit.
But we'll get into that. Just kind of going over a few points. I'm not going to go through everyone who was in it and stuff like that.
No.
But what I really enjoyed about this particular Rumble was the use of the NXT.
Yes.
The kind of like future call-ups, the what's kind of like who the big names right now. We had Lash Legend. We had the champion Julia. We had Stephanie Baker. We had Roxanne Perez, who was she was the Iron Woman and actually set a record. And I forgot to write down. She set a new
record. Was it for over an hour?
It was over an hour. It's like an hour and.
I will research.
Thank you very much. I meant to look it up, the official number, but I did not do it. It was good.
Yeah.
But Roxanne Perez getting the Iron Woman spot.
That was big.
In NXT. It's huge.
That was really big. She did great. They all had a great showing.
She really did. And Jada Parker as well, as you mentioned, she was also in it, which was a big surprise. I did not see that coming, and it was cool to see her in the big environment because she handled it, I think, quite well. She looked. She was in it. It was to be honest, until I rewatched it, I did too. But it was just I remember we did pop at that point.
But it was good to see. I mean, we watch NXT, so we've been watching these ladies for a while. So for us, I mean, like, not the entire WWE audience don't always watch NXT, so they might not have known who they were. But by the end of what they all did, I think they all knew at least who Roxanne was. A lot of people who knew who Julia was and Stephanie and stuff.
They
Lash
all got
Legend,
pops. Lash Legend got a huge pop, a lot bigger than before because she's been doing the SmackDown stuff.
Yeah, so it was just really lovely as an NXT fan as well to see the NXT women's roster, because they have got a really strong roster that they utilize very well, and so for them to have so many in the women's rumble, it was really nice to see. Thought we'd get more TNA as well, but you know, is what it is, I guess.
Yes, well, we've got Jordan Grace, who is now signed with WWE, which is awesome. Is she? She
was not with TNA when TNA. She was in the Rumble. So that doesn't count as a TNA appearance to me.
No, she signed the deal. Oh no, it was somebody else. But Jordan Grace being there as well was awesome. She had a really great spot with Piper Niven. She gave her the DVD, and it made her just look so strong. She looked like an absolute warrior, gladiator kind of thing.
She looked great, really strong showing. But she's just.
She did last year as well, but it was another huge pop. I believe she's going to NXT as well, which, like you say,
exciting,
stacked division, and you've got Julia, Stephanie Baker. They're gonna have some really great matches. Jordan Grace, it's wild. There was also a great spot as well when she just beat the living daylights of Bianca Belair into Naomi's boobs. Kicking it, and then Bianca just comes up going.
She was just laughing. It's so funny. You can tell they're all such good friends. I don't know if they thought that moment would have been caught as much as it was, but it was. Petter, do you have the Roxanne Perez time there, sir?
It was 1 hour, 7 minutes,
and
47 seconds.
Sure, nice one.
Do you know what?
I have doctor's handwriting, so I couldn't read what I actually wrote.
I expect to see her on the main roster imminently. I think, she will make a great addition. I'd miss her on NXT, but for them to give an NXT star the Iron Woman spot and it to be Roxanne, I think shows a lot of faith.
Very talented.
And I think that says to your core kind of main roster audience, like, this is someone you need to really be focusing on. It was great. They did it with Rhea. They've done it with Bianca. They do it. They've done a great job of presenting Roxanne there, I think. So excited to see what comes of that.
Absolutely. So
I will say on Roxanne, I used to watch her back in the old Ring of Honor days when she was Roxy.
Yes.
And she was one of the best female wrestlers they had at the time.
Continue to elevate.
One of the things ROH had towards the back end of their proper run.
Yeah.
So she was the women's champion. I'm trying to. I think
they did a great job of building her up when she was coming. Like, we weren't aware of her at that point, and then we went off and learned about her. But they were like the crowd and stuff. They were chanting Roxy at first, weren't they? Roxy. And then eventually it went to Roxanne. So
they made a point that she's been on the indies, so we knew to go and look for her and be like, all right, we can find something out about this chick because everyone seems to be popping. And then they mentioned how she was trained by Booker T and stuff. So it was like, oh right, okay, let's go.
But we talk about all like NXT stuff on the gonna plug HDW show podcast with like DP and Mr. Impact Craig, who has also just brought out a podcast called Calling the Spots.
Yes.
Which I listened to today. It's good.
Nice one. I'm gonna listen to it on my walk.
And so we all really love NXT, so we definitely go into more detail on NXT over there. So usually comes out on a Sunday.
Yeah. So on that note, moving forward, we had some returns as well in this Rumble, in the Ladies Rumble. We had Alexa Bliss come back finally. Huge pop for Alexa Bliss. Everyone was, and she walked with a confidence and stride.
Not seen in a while.
I've never seen from her since we started watching it again. Like this, what was it? The Empress or something. I can't remember what it was. It was when I wasn't watching. She seems to have amalgamated all of her characters into one package, keeping the spooky vibe, but with this bitchy vibe, but also like very empowered.
Yeah.
She looked fucking fantastic.
She looked amazing. That crowd went wild for her. The kiddo loves, like I think actually it is Alexa Bliss who I can credit with kind of catching her attention and making her kind of look at wrestling. She's got the first wrestling t-shirt she ever got was an Alexa Bliss one. And she loved the whole Lily thing. She was about 6 at the time, maybe 7 at the time. She was young at the time. And so when I told her that Alexa Bliss was back, she was really excited.
So jazzed.
She looked great.
Lily back?
Yeah, she had that was the first question. We got a new Lily doll as well, which I like. It's a dark, and I'd buy that doll. That doll looks sick next to my other doll.
So good.
Like, but yeah,
Cooper would just
she looked great. She stomped down that it was a runway. That was an absolute she was just serving. She was like, "This is my moment, and I'm serving," and she served so hard. So welcome back, Miss Bliss.
Absolutely.
And I believe she's going to SmackDown.
Yeah, that seems to be the thing. We thought that's where the White Six are. It makes sense.
They didn't show it. They cut away, which is really disappointing. She turned around to show her leather jacket, and on the back it says "Friends Forever" in red, but and white, but the red spelled out "Fiend," and the other letters that spelled out added to it to make friends were in smaller, so it says "Fiend Forever," and that was a really lovely tribute. Unfortunately, they didn't catch it on camera, which was disappointing. She did post a picture on her Instagram afterwards, and it's really lovely. It was a really lovely nod to Bray, and I think we can expect to see what looks like some brutal Alexa Bliss, because she was throwing some work around in there. She was really going to town.
Great. I hadn't missed a beat.
She was eliminated far too early for my liking, but that's just personal preference. But
I will say, them missing Bliss's entrance wasn't the only thing they missed on this Rumble.
No, it wasn't. There was a few things they missed. They missed a couple. On the men's Rumble as well. They missed. Oh, we'll get onto it. But there's a Claymore and everything missed.
All sorts.
Wow. There was one big one I thought in the men's Rumble.
Oh God, yeah.
But we'll come to that later.
Yeah, there was some definite interesting choices being made in Gorilla. Like where to cut to and stuff, but I'm not sure what was going on.
It was a little bit chaotic.
It did feel a little bit chaotic, but we weren't there. I guess it must have been absolutely just like, God damn it.
But yeah, so it was brilliant to have Alexa Bliss back. Alexa Bliss back. As well as a return from her, we had a couple of legends return. Trish Stratus made her appearance, as we predicted she would.
Yeah.
Very much always happy to see Trish. She came back into wrestling and was better. And she continues to get better.
Yeah.
Even now. So it's always a delight to see her.
Yeah.
And the number 30 spot was taken by one Nikki Bella. Okay.
Yeah.
For the 30 spot is very much one of those. It's either oh my God or we know what's coming, or oh, really? And it can be a really disappointing one because it's the last one and you spent all this time going, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Had to finish it. It was one of those where you kind of like, that's not what I was expecting. No one wanted this. This is strange. What are we doing here? That's not to shit on Nikki Bella. I remember back when I was watching, she was before I kind of like took a break from wrestling. She was a big deal, a huge deal, in fact. And so it is great to see her. The 30 spot, though, odd.
That was an interesting show. I am not familiar with Nikki Bella. I was not watching when the Bellas were in.
No, they
were around. They were long gone by the time I came back to it. And I'd gone up, stopped watching it way before they even turned up. So I have nothing to go off. So I kind of might sit more in that, maybe even the younger audience as well, who might not really know who she was. And so when her music hit and everything, I was like, who's that? That's a problem throughout the Rumble anyway. Yeah. They really need to sort that fucking music out in general. Death Rebels sucks. And just hands down. But I thought that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, it was an odd choice.
Yeah, I mean, love to see anyone return, love to see more women who kind of paved the way come back. It's always lovely to see it. I would have, not to say she should not have been in the Rumble. I just think the 30 spot was interesting. I believe she has said that she's coming for a run, to do a run.
Yeah, she said she so appear again.
I'm excited to kind of learn who Nikki Bella is, because I have no idea beyond what I've seen and been told about them. That's it. But yeah, the 30 spot was an interesting position.
What I will say is that she's as a person recently been through some pretty horrible shit.
Absolutely.
And even though I didn't quite understand it, for her and going what she's gone through and being outspoken about it, to be in that 30 spot, we did have this conversation the other day. That's very empowering and very cool. And that must have been a very nice moment for her. Yeah. So for that, congratulations to Nikki Bella for getting that pop, for coming back. And she did get a big fucking pop because people were surprised. And it won't be the only surprise this evening.
They actually did pull out some surprises, which in the last couple of years they have not done.
They have not, but it's congratulations to her for that, and all the best and power to you. Keep fucking fighting. So yeah,
absolutely.
I'll get down just to close it out. As far as, like I say, there was a lot of goods. Also, just for a little bit of extra storytelling, there were some stories that were kind of potentially formed through this for moving forward. You've got Piper
eliminated Chelsea Green by accident, but still.
We'll see how that goes. It's those kind of things that start happening. There was a moment between Bianca and Naomi, which you haven't really had yet, because Jordan Grace came in. Jordan was like, "Oh, you," and then "Oh, you," and then they hug it out
in TNA
and have a big history there. Bianca was like, "What the fuck?"
Right, grabbed her by the hair.
She really did.
Jealous girlfriend, bitch.
It was very.
You can't do that. You can't grab people by the hair.
But I believe she accidentally took out Naomi or hit Naomi as well in that moment, and there's a bit of miscommunication, which is the first thing we've seen. And excuse me, I do apologize. I think it it's hopefully, or maybe not hopefully, but it's the start of something between those two. For me, to see Bianca going back towards singles run as a title holder, because that's the Bianca that I really get behind.
Yeah.
Not that I don't enjoy those two together. And just to round it off with the winner, because I wanted to kind of give kudos to everything else first. It was the returning Charlotte Flair. So what? And
her music hit.
She came
and we
back.
said she's winning.
Yeah.
Now I really want to point this out.
Yeah.
Because I sometimes feel like in What We Do in the Shadows, Nadia with Nando's girlfriend, I like her.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah, that's the thing. I both actually like her.
we kind of like Charlotte Flair, more like kind of Ashley sometimes, kind of feel for her. She's been through it. Like over the last year at least, she has been through it. And I think before her injury, she was seeming a little bit disenchanted. She seemed a little bit, you know.
She didn't understand why the crowd was kept not getting behind her. It was because of the solid overbooking that she's been receiving and stuff like that. And
she does get very much the red carpet rolled out for her and all that. I don't know how much of that is her. Don't know how much of that is WWE themselves because of the name, all of that. So I'm glad to see her come back because that injury she had sucked. Her knee was facing the wrong way.
It was wild.
I saw some of her recovery after her surgery and everything. She went through it. And so to see her come back, great. Really happy for her. To see her win the Rumble wasn't, I think, the women that were in that Rumble before her have been working so hard over the last year or so to build stories, to, get time. We've had some really great stuff building with Naomi and Bianca and Jade we've started seeing Zoe Stark and, Shayna Baszler and people come back, and it's just, they've been working so hard. So for someone who is coming back from an injury, who hasn't been there the whole time, to kind of swoop in and win, and it being Charlotte Flair, I think the added caveat of it being Charlotte Flair is what people are kind of thinking about. Because I wonder if people would have the same reaction if it was Becky Lynch who came back and won.
On that note, notably absent from the Rumble and didn't make a return, was people were suspecting it. But I also think multiple reasons. She doesn't need to take the shine from anyone else, especially from the rest of the women in the Rumble. But also, whatever the history between those two is, I believe they're on good terms again. I don't know.
I believe they've sorted everything out.
Yeah, it seems to anyway, within WWE context at least. And so she might not want to overshadow Charlotte or be overshadowed by, because she wasn't winning, and fair enough. But there'll be time for Becky Lynch, and she knows her worth, and she knows she doesn't.
She'll come back at the right time. It'll be the perfect time, exactly when she needs to, not a moment too soon. Just like Gandalf the Grey. Petter, you look like you've got a.
I will say this, thinking about listening to what you've said. I will make a case for why it makes a bit more sense for Charlotte to win. Mm-hmm. I will say this as someone completely blind. Looking at the roster that I can see, because I have all the times of how long everyone lasted, if anyone's interested to know. And I could be wrong, but I think most of them are NXT and have recently come up.
Yeah.
So I think on that basis, they've probably thought it's too early to have one of those new ones instantly get the top spot, like than to be fighting for the title. Out of all of them, it does make sense for Charlotte to be the person, because she's gone away, she's come back. It, in a sense, it's like Cena when he came back straight from injury and had the number 30 spot.
Jesus.
So on that basis, I can understand why they've put Charlotte there, because I don't think the ones that have recently moved are in that position yet.
Fair enough.
I think that makes more sense. I think if they were more main roster for so long and then they won it, that would be fine.
Yes. I'm really sorry.
I have something really stupid.
Yeah. I was listening to everything. I have a response.
Yes.
Positive. However, Nikki just
and with that, we've temporarily lost them. So I will continue to keep the show going. So for those of you that are interested, while they just sort out their technical problems, and isn't that just a happy freeze frame we have on screen? I digress. So what we have, Alexa Bliss, as we said, entered the Rumble, and she was in for... I wasn't talking to you. Bliss was 11 minutes and 1 second.
I need this one.
I feel that is probably going to be clipped. Trish Stratus was in for 13 minutes and 15 seconds. We have Nikki Bella, as we mentioned. She clocked 5 minutes and 6 seconds while they still sort their technical issues.
Oh, no, we're good.
We're good now. We're just plugging it in. It's just me being stupid. Sorry.
While they, as I say, as they finish off, I will just hold this show together like Yoo-hoo, but very cheap Yoo-hoo.
That's why.
Boo-hoo.
Oh, so grateful.
Thank you.
So Charlotte Flair was 15 minutes and 3 seconds. Jordan Grace clocked an amazing 22 minutes and 40 seconds.
Jesus.
The second longest, other than Roxanne Perez, was Liv Morgan, and she came in at 66 minutes and 59 seconds.
She is a regular Iron Woman, Liv.
Yeah,
she needs
the
to
last
get a
two.
win soon.
The last two, she's been the Iron Woman.
Io Sky clocked 66 minutes and 43 seconds.
Wow.
So almost past Liv.
Mm.
Who else have we got? Chelsea Green was 26 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah, she was eliminated almost immediately last year as well, so that was nice.
Oh no, it was was it last year?
Yeah.
God, was that last year? That was only last
It's
year.
happened the last couple of times. I think she gets eliminated usually pretty quick. I will say about the Women's Rumble, I did feel like the people, there was more women in the ring all at once at one point, and it was like they all got some time in there.
Yeah.
There wasn't a load of quick, there wasn't too many super quick eliminations. It felt like everybody got a bit of time to breathe and do something, which was nice.
They did clear the field pretty quickly though, because Nia eliminated like 6 women at once.
Well, they always do that. They always send
yeah.
they did. I think they did it in the men's as well. They always send someone
Roman.
big out to throw about 7 people out, don't they? So that they look really big and scary. So, but yeah. When your point before about Charlotte making sense, because the titles have just changed hands recently. So obviously we've got Rhea and Tiffy are both the women's champions. So there is like the opportunity to start new stories, and because we don't really know necessarily yet who's in that kind of picture just yet. They were just starting to build it. So yeah, Charlotte. It also makes sense in that case as well, though, because Alexa's return has been so wanted, but I believe that was all very last minute anyway, so maybe that's why she ultimately didn't win. But like, I'm intrigued to see where she goes. She's gonna challenge Tiffany, and that is going to be really exciting because Tiffany's
Is she going to challenge Tiffany? Is that what it's been?
But that's what she said. So I was watching the press conference. You passed out by then, and she basically said like, Tiffany.
I'd imagine that was what it was going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I say, I've nothing against Charlotte. I've nothing against anyone winning it. I think we've done the dance so many times, and while I do believe WWE are taking a different step, I just at the expense of someone who.
So, your point earlier about, Charlotte, it makes sense for Charlotte to kind of come back and everything. It does, but because the titles have just changed hands, so Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley now have them. So everybody was in the previous title picture. It's all shuffling around. So the Rumble obviously is the place to kind of build that and start that. So it could have been any number of people, and it still can be as well, because we still got a hold of the title there, sat there for the picking. We've got Elimination Chamber and everything coming up. That's going to be fun. But it could have been Alexa, but I was thinking it could have been Alexa as well, because she was having her big return, not from injury. She had a child, and she's been being a mum, and it's really wonderful to see her coming back, and everybody's been really wanting to see her back.
I think for that reason, it would be good not to put her in that kind of scene
straight away. But oh, I had a point.
Sorry. I am so sorry. Oh, I am terrible.
Oh, that was it. But I believe the Alexa Bliss kind of joining the Rumble and everything was actually quite last minute jobby anyway. So it does, when you look at the bigger picture, like you say, it does make sense. But I do understand the kind of pushback on it, especially when we've been really investing in all these new people, and then you've got these great NXT stars that you've been kind of highlighting lately, and so it would have felt nice. However, we did need kind of that predictable outcome, I guess, to make the men's Rumble seem even more like unpredictable.
I guess you could argue that would definitely add to it.
Charlotte, us all going, Charlotte's going to win this, actually kind of bolstered the pivot with not pivot, but you know what I mean, like the kind of bait and switch with it being. I think it amplified that a little bit.
I think as well, possibly it's like the whole Netflix thing as well.
And you've got
it's a well-known star as well.
The Flair name.
There is that element as well. I did not consider Netflix. I
don't like throwing out the Nepo stuff, because I know she gets a lot of shit for the nepotism. She can't help who her dad is, but Netflix probably attracted to that.
I think they appreciate. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think that's probably going to happen probably for the next fair few months. They'll kind of the regulars. They'll just go. I think you'll see it with like the men and women. The more famous ones, so like Cena coming back, just draw people in, and then say about middle of this year, I think that'll then calm down and just go, right, we've got everyone we've needed to. Here's your regular programming. I think it's trying to boost viewing figures and get eyes on the product, and then hopefully they'll go back to wrestling.
Yeah, well, much like the Netflix debut when we originally spoke about that,
it was just one big advert. There was mostly just segments, talking, promos, just all sorts. It wasn't much wrestling, and they've toned it way down since then.
Big time. Oh, it went straight back to normal Raw the next week.
Don't have all those fancy lights and the seats and all that shit.
No.
That's not what it is.
It's a one-time thing.
That's special
Netflix debut. So yeah, but like I say, really good Rumble. Looking forward to seeing where it all kind of goes.
Yeah, there's some great moments in it. I know a lot of people, for some reason, are saying that the Women's Rumble was a bit weak, and I don't know if we were watching the same Women's Rumble, and that's all I will say.
I really enjoyed it. It was good fun. Moving on, just very quickly, the DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns Tag Team Championship on the line. 2 out of 3 falls. DIY got the first pin, Motor City got the second pin, and then the final pin came to DIY. They retained as the Street Profits came out and messed with Motor City Machine Guns. They Dawkins came in, fucked him up with his crotch. Montez Ford
really went to town on him. By the way, I saw the pictures on of Ciampa.
Oh yeah, well that's it. They retained the titles and then come out, and then they attack DIY as well. Now DIY attacked the Street Profits, I believe, didn't they, on SmackDown?
They've been messing with each other for the last few anyway. All of them really are in a big. It's a mess.
They're the reason they didn't get the title shot, because title shots they I believe took them out. So I like this. I like the angry Montez. I really like the angry Dawkins. I'm hoping it's going to lead something. And also having them do that and not be in the Rumble solidifies that this whole tag team shakeup that's happened since the Motor City Machine Guns have been brought in is taking the fact they are a tag team, we're keeping Montez here because it seemed to be for a minute that they weren't going to.
Yeah, it looked for a minute they were going to give Tez a singles push,
but never came about. But yeah, it was an enjoyable match. I'll be honest with you, I can't remember the most of it because it was very, very tired. It is one I'm going to rewatch, but I do remember very much enjoying it being very much an indie tag team match. It felt quick, but it was enjoyable. So
yeah, Gaga and Ciampa came out like
Bloodied.
he'd been through a bloody war. Like I expect to see him
yeah.
in a mask because his nose did not look okay.
No, it was all kinds of blown up.
It was not happy, Chappy, by the end of that match.
So yeah, it's just good to see WWE putting like
investing in the tag.
Yeah, it's like another. They're making more of a tag division that was been overlooked and underbooked for a very, very long time because of certain people's view on tag team wrestling. So, but yeah. What did I say? Oh yeah, I said that. I also wrote in here that Montez hasn't like kind of spoken properly for a while. He just kind of mean mugs with his ridiculous physique. He looks fucking insane.
He looks so scary. He's so intimidating. I like it.
He looks fucking brilliant.
They both look great as well. Like Dawkins has been working. I like the darker, kind of like edgier Street Profits. I want to see like it's felt for a while.
They've been trying to
like they've been. It's like they're trying to run, but they're being actively like held back. It's so frustrating. They've always been so over. Tez and Dawkins in ring work as a team is some of the best.
Really.
Tag team kind of. They're so on the same page. They've been together for such a long time, and Tez always gives such fucking spectacular moments, like, and it's always been really frustrating to me. They always kind of tease like they're going to get something and they never get it. It just fizzles out. So whatever it is you're doing with them now, stop being pussies and stick with it. Just like fucking do it. Like the crowd have been wanting this.
Do it, cowards.
Want something for them for ages. So like, let them fly, let them go. And now,
fight.
I mean, I'm not vibing at the minute with the Motor City Machine Guns. That doesn't mean that they're not great. I can see in the ring they're awesome. I can appreciate their work. I've not quite clicked with them. Yeah, you're still getting around. Whatever, I will get there with them. I always do with people when I'm not 100% yet. Like, but I can see the value that they have added to the tag division and how them being there is going to benefit everybody. So even if I've not clicked with them just yet, I don't hate them being there. I'm excited.
I was going to say, I think with the Motor City Machine Guns, there is always this thing of wrestling a different type of style when you get to the WWE. Whether that's still the same or not, I don't know. But they are quite new, so I think it'll take them a few months to get going.
Well, that's why I think DIY have been so prominent in their initial stages. It's much like when Okada, when Ospreay came to AEW.
It's familiar ground, like
their first matches were with New Japan guys, and so to have this kind of match with someone in the 2 out of 3 falls kind of element, they have had matches with just WWE guys, obviously, but a lot of their stuff that they've been doing has been with DIY. I do think that kind of eases them in.
I think a part of my problem is, and I this is just a problem with me across the board in any wrestling show that I watch. I don't like being told that I like them, and from the minute they were like the Motor City Machine Guns, they were like, "You love these guys. These are the best people. You love them," and I very much felt like they were telling me I love them, and I will always pull back on that. I'll make my own mind up. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've done that a little bit with the Motor City Machine Guns.
Putting the titles on them straight away, you weren't into that.
No.
Which is
and like I say, I'm not shitting on them on their work. I just don't like it because WWE have got a real weird way of genuinely telling you like they tried to do it with Roman Reigns. Doesn't
work.
doesn't always work, and sometimes it doesn't work en masse, and sometimes it doesn't work kind of for the odd individual, and I've fallen into that category at the minute. I know they'll do something that makes me go, I like these guys.
Yeah, you just need that moment,
but I can appreciate they are good in the ring before anybody comes at me.
I think it's just let them bed into sort of like what's going on.
Yeah, there's the bedding in process. Yeah.
It's too early to kind of say anything, but if they are going down that route of, hey, this is the Motor City Machine Guns, you're gonna love them, that feels very much like they're going to make them like the heels.
They probably will be at some point, yeah.
Somewhere down the line they will be.
And that's probably when I'll love them.
I think it was, for me, the addition of the Motor City Machine Guns was Tripps's, like, the tag team division needs a jolt in the arm, and it's going to be a big shake-up. So we're bringing in these guys who are known across the board, that people like TNA, they're a veteran group. We're going to bring them in. They're going to be the fucking champions straight away, shaking things up big time.
Yeah.
And they've done that. And then they put the belts back onto DIY, which I think was the right move, for sure. And over on Raw, you've got the War Raiders as the champs now as well.
And they've been love the War Raiders.
Fantastic, great to see them back. But yeah, so it's just, I'm really happy to see it. See that it's taking form, and like you say, I'm looking forward to when the Motor City Machine Guns get over with you, because I'm the same. I'm not like, I don't know them that well, but because I can like reason why they're there and why these things happen, I'm like, okay, I like them, but I'm much easier to get a hold of in that respect. I'm such a little mark for that stuff. You say I'm just like a dog.
And what was next?
I was going to say, you said a jolt in the arm, and all I thought of just going jolt in the hand as it's Motor City Machine Guns, but that's just me being slightly marky on that.
Well, next up we had Cody and KO in a ladder match.
Yep.
This was a pretty brutal ladder match. I really enjoyed it. The overall outcome was Cody winning. Obviously, it's Mania season. It's Cody the champion. To be expected, very much so. However, I booked myself into a bit of a fantasy corner, so I was like, this could happen, and it would be amazing. That prediction was going to be basically, how great would it be if Sami Zayn came out after his interaction with KO, which was like, you'd do anything for me, like I'd do anything for you kind of thing. I know you got my back. And I was like, what if Sami came out and helped KO, and then KO came out in the Rumble and helped Sami, and it's those two at Mania, and Sami wins it, takes it off KO, and that's KO's last match in WWE, and he goes off to AEW. That's
anywhere
else. Just goes off for a little bit. I just could see him doing some fun indie stuff and just being about and enjoying wrestling and stuff like that. Yeah. But if he's happy in WWE, I don't know. I just put myself into this weird fantasy. So it was a very difficult match for me. I was like, I really like that idea and I want it. And so stupidly, I put myself into a corner.
Yeah, I wanted KO to win because I always want KO to win.
And just in general, wanting to win it.
I always want him to win, so I was trying to manifest that. Didn't work, because Cody and but it was very much a KO match. I felt.
Just Cody brought out that dark side of him.
And and it
was very good.
We got to see a side of Cody that we've not really seen in the WWE yet. We've seen it elsewhere, and we've not seen it in this kind of since he's come back, where he can be a petty bitch. He can be really, really nasty. He can be brutal. You know, he can lose his rag, and he doesn't have an off button if he's got himself super whipped up. He will carry on going until someone stops him, and I think a lot of people got to see that. So maybe he's bringing badness out of Cody, and he's been saying he's going to expose him and all this, so maybe that's what he's trying to do. Maybe he is trying to really push his buttons to show everybody that he isn't President Cody. He
Yeah.
has got a dark side, like all of us. But
I think at some point that might have been the game, really. I don't know if it still is, but the brutal ending was exactly Cooper. The brutal ending was Cody giving an Alabama slam through the ladder, which was on the between the ring and the table, and KO folded like fucking laundry.
Like over. Oh. He stayed there.
He stayed there
ages.
For ages, folded up like his
onto
head.
Himself.
His head is here, and his body is just up around.
Like his head's underneath him.
It was a really, really brutal visual. You had Sami Zayn, who was out at the ring at the time. He was there for it. You were right to rewatch that match, but to see the conflict within him, that was really good for the story. And then Cody going up, taking the belt, Sami doing nothing because he's trying to do the right thing. Cooper was pissed at that, clearly.
We can tell.
That's your own,
buddy.
That's your own reflection, dude.
Yeah, that's you. Nope, make that shoe. That's you in the mirror.
Sorry.
And so, one of the things that I thought was really interesting about the match, and to your point about the not quite being President Cody, was that Sami, who did nothing about didn't try to stop Cody from the match. He did not interfere. He was a man of his word and stuff like that. Even though he just saw his boy get absolutely fucked up.
Yeah.
And Cody, when he got the title, he really lauded over KO, who was in a bad way. And Sami
even went back to do it again.
He did it twice.
Yeah.
And it was a very, like, in your face. And to see that side of him brought out by KO, it is cool to see. Is it going to be like no, that's just the darkness within the hero, or is it going to be
Kevin was right.
Kevin was right. So, interesting. Good fun match. I believe you had a point on the ladder match, Petter?
I was not so much on that actual match, but it's just made me think of, for some reason, the Rumble do have these tendencies to have, gimmick matches?
Stick match.
That
Yeah.
always seem to be standouts.
Yeah.
So you've had table matches with the Dudleys and the Hardys. You had what I would say is one of the best ladder matches with two certain Canadians at the 2001 Royal Rumble.
Oh, yes.
Still, for me, one of the best ladder matches.
That's what got me into wrestling.
And then you've got this one, which from reports seemed to have been a really good match as well.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the Rumble throws up these kind of matches that no one particularly looks back on over the year. But as the kind of like things move on, everyone harks back to them. I don't know what it is with Rumbles and ladder matches and gimmick matches that work so well compared to any other event.
It's immediate fun. It's immediate fun, and you're keeping that energy going throughout.
They tend to do them on a SummerSlam as well.
You guys keep going. Don't stop on my.
They tend to do them on a SummerSlam as well. I've noticed, and it was actually a ladder match that got me into wrestling, and it was one of the it was the first the Hardys and was it Dudleys and everyone. It was that
the TLC.
The TLC, yeah.
The first one, I think.
Yeah, and then the next one just it was insane, wasn't it? Like, but yeah, you're right. They do always give us a little bit. They always give us a stick match, but that's it though. When like the Royal Rumble is the beginning of Mania season, and we about to get some of the juicy pay-per-views like the PLEs, whatever. So we're going to get Elimination Chamber and all this, and obviously that's kind of quite stippy, isn't it? So it's when Rumble season, Mania season is, I think, when WWE likes to kind of show off all the different things that they can do. I'm interested to see how it's going to be on Netflix, because like I say, it's already been we've already started noticing a little bit more kind of ruthlessness, like we got a double stomp, like foot stomp from Seth. We got the way that the Street Profits were beating the absolute shit out of everyone with the crutch. We've not really seen them be that aggressive and hit each other with things that hard.
Yeah.
Not often. It's rare, but since they've gone to Netflix, I've noticed an uptake like in them actually like really cracking each other about. So I'm really interested to see how Elimination Chamber and everything's going to go, and all the stick matches now that they obviously seem to have a little bit less restriction. Like they're showing blood.
Because it's the thing as well of when it was on like US Network or USA and Fox or whatever, you've got to keep towards like the boundaries of what you can put on TV. Netflix is almost like an open season.
They've got their own
limited boundaries.
Yeah, they've got different boundaries and different things, and it depends where they're kind of broadcasting to and countries and everything. But we knew there was going to be a bit more of a raw element to WWE flicks. And it's not gone, they've not gone like balls to the wall straight away with it. I think it is going to be like a phase it in process. You don't want to startle your audience like too much. You don't want to go straight back to what we were used to when we were kids from like the Attitude Era and everything. Got to ease it in, like and so yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm excited to see Elimination Chamber. Actually, yeah,
very much so. Now that you said it, I must admit I am seeing if they're going to ramp it up.
Yeah, and then what? Then what was after that? We had the men's rumble.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a fun match, and that
I'm interested to see kind of where everything falls after that.
Yeah. So the men's rumble, I like to say the second time round, I preferred the men's rumble. Second time round, I could actually enjoy it. I knew what was going to happen. Yada yada yada. That expectation of the things I wanted or thought might happen has gone away. So I can just enjoy the rumble for what it is. What I will say though is like you say, it seemed like so it was a match of two. It was a rumble of two halves.
Yeah.
WWE do this. However, this felt very much like you had a certain kind of like priority on the roster, and you had we started off with Rey Mysterio and Penta, and it was a very cool moment.
Yeah,
it was a very, very cool moment. You know, like respect. He shook hands. Penta did the Zero Mirror, but he didn't mush it in his face out of respect.
Yeah, and
then Rey did a 619 with his fingers, which I don't recall him doing much, and then just started beating the shit out of Penta. So that was good. But yeah, the first half felt very fast paced. He had a lot more kind of lucha and cruiserweights kind of thing going on.
They really they front loaded the rumble with all their luchas.
Yeah, but it was still a lot of fun. I've written down that the kind of like the main highlights for me were Jacob Fatu for a start.
Oh yeah.
He is a dude who has been going from strength to strength since they've allowed him off the leash, as it were. His promos into the ring are so fucking good, but the Rumble being able to be like an animal unleashed and just like go for it, go have fun, guy.
Yeah. Oh, it was a great showing for him. It
was a great showing for him. There was a couple of people. There was a particular spot, which is the spot of the evening, 100% for me personally, was seeing IShow Speed take Akira Tozawa's spot. That was bad. However, yes, Peter. However, Triple H saying, "Speed, get out there." Okay. Oh, I'm gonna eliminate Otis. Clearly, like, genuinely seemed not happy about it. I don't know if I'm just being a marker. If he sold really well. But he high fives Braun, does a backflip, And yeah, you're gonna have to bite down on something, kid, because you just got knocked into the fucking twilight zone by Bron Breakker. He killed the boy. He did not let up. He let him know, this is WWE. If you want to be in this is what it's really like. So fuck you. It was mental.
Oh,
then he
Lord.
picked him up, chucked him out to Otis with a big smile on his face as well, like, well, let's do this. Chucked him down to Otis. Otis flips him over onto the commentary table, storms off. That was almost harsh to watch. Like, you feel kind of bad for the kid, but it's like, nope, this dude sucks. So let's take him out with a big old spear. And he drove his shoulder into his face.
I don't even think the lad got time to talk properly either.
He didn't talk. He just went down, and then his head got drilled into the mat further by Bron's giant fucking Steiner shoulder.
I've seen so many angles of that spear now, because that moment, like, and it like I say,
it's like
really
directed it.
It was a fucking insane moment and everything. It kind of overshone things a little bit, which is frustrating, because the last thing you want really is for the Royal Rumble to be overshone by a moment that features a fucking YouTuber.
Yeah.
But then, you know, Logan Paul's also there, so.
Yeah.
If I'd seen, I think I told you the next day what I thought of that whole thing. I ranted. But yes, I'll put it this way: I would have smoked the entire cigarette factory after seeing that hit on him, because so much pleasure.
Yeah, it felt really. This culture of shitting on Akira Tozawa needs to stop. Like, so weird. Why did it need to happen? Again, I know there's the corporate entertainment factor. You're drawing in people who watch YouTube, kids who watch YouTube, stuff like that. But they just, what I do hope as well, that the takeaway is this shit hurts. He even did an interview where he said, this hurts. Is that what you want me to say? This hurts. He didn't look like a guy who was being in character. He looked like a guy who was like, I got the message.
Shame.
Yeah. But yeah.
Very wild. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, but that aside, because like I said, that was great. But
yeah, moving on to the main thing. I'll go into the winner in a second. What I will say about this Rumble was it got a bit more messy in parts, as well as a kind of Braun Strowman kind of missed a few things. There's a lot of eliminations that did not get caught on camera.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing between LA Knight and Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest trying to get their spots in. I do know what it was.
Bashing into each other. They missed the fucking Claymore. Because they were too busy lining up the shot ready for when fucking Logan Paul was coming out at 30. Instead of seeing the Claymore, you hear Michael Cole go, Claymore, Claymore. But instead, we're treated to a lovely shot of the entranceway because all eyes needs to be on Logan.
Yeah, it was a bit...
It's chaotic.
Because of the chaos, it felt rushed. It didn't feel like there was much going... Like, it seemed to miss a lot of stuff. Penta seemed to not be in it barely at all, even though he was
sat in the corner for a long time.
But it did seem to be he was sat in the corner doing nothing for like multiple times when the camera was on him.
I will say, because I have just sent you the times of how long people were in there. Penta was in there the most.
Yeah.
Yes, isn't it?
I was going to say it was about 40 minutes. I knew it was around that time. I didn't realize he was the longest though. Makes sense because he was like second.
Yeah, but considering he was in it for so long, I don't think he really. He did get to have quite a lot of thingy, but he did spend. I thought there was a lot of moments, right, where there was people doing their bit and everyone else just stood there.
Yeah.
Stood around looking. I know there was the spot where Sheamus was purposely watching Joe Hendry, and that was great.
Big fun spot.
That was fine, but there were so many times where they'd go to a wide shot and someone's doing their bit in the middle and people are literally just lay there on the edge like just watching. It's like in the women's Rumble there was constant movement, even in the corners, whether they lay there selling or they're not obviously lay there going, I'm watching this is great. And so that was quite frustrating And yeah, there's just cameras missing important things.
I'll say this for it. The missing Henry doing the turn.
Yes.
He has one thing that he's known for, and they did not get that. So whoever's in charge of the camera,
it wasn't the best night.
He's shooting. But the men's and women's for me is the women's is more wrestling. The men's rumble felt very much like, let's try and see if we can get like a social media thing going, much like they had with, I think it was Logan Paul and Ricochet a couple of years ago, when they'd done the whole springboard bash into one another.
Yeah.
It's someone has made the point before of they seem to be more interested in trying to get like social media
Moments.
interaction than
they want viral moments.
Wrestling, as opposed to any other company.
Yeah, and a lot of that as well, like, I'm not saying it's Logan Paul, but a lot of that became quite a thing when Logan Paul rocked up because he had a moment and it went viral, and then WWE caught on, I think, to how beneficial a viral moment can be in a world where you've got no competition. You just deny the competition exists. And so, yeah, they do seem to really be chasing this, and because like they even mention it in commentary, like, oh, this moment was watched X amount of times by X amount of people, and it's I mean, it's great, you know, because it is hard to go viral, but I'd rather you don't base the Royal Rumble or a match around creating a viral moment. Maybe base it around creating more stories.
But they did,
which they did do.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, they definitely did do that. What I was going to say was, when it comes to that, they have a big, like, escape spot every Rumble. For years it was Kofi, and then it didn't go so well for a couple of years on the track. It went really badly the second year. Could have ended really badly for Kofi. But giving Logan Paul that spot, I get. It felt kind of weak sauce, him jumping to the bottom thing. He just kind of stepped over from the barrier to the steps to eliminate AJ, but it was, I'm not being funny, I couldn't fucking do that, so I can barely judge. But all right. But
it wasn't like this. There wasn't many super wow.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Other than obviously the eye show, but again.
Yeah, that was very good.
You know,
but
whatever.
Yeah, there was the weirdness between them. When it all's said and done, though, some really cool things did happen in this Rumble that I think will last. Like, as I like those moments. Like I was saying last week about Toni Storm, if she wins in Australia, even if it's right or wrong for Mariah May to not have the belt now because she can become quite dominant. That moment will last forever of Toni Storm holding the belt in Australia, the confetti and everything. It is, a lot of the time, it's about the series of moments. That's what they do it for. And that was what Vince McMahon was doing for years. He was just like creating highlight reels.
VKM.
Everything. So, apologies for bringing them up on here. It was all about the highlight because he thinks that's all anyone's going to remember. And so these moments, one of them that I think is going to last, though, and I think it was a good one, was having CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and John Cena in the ring at the same time. It was a very, like, you'll look back at that and go, they're top of the game people who are all in a Rumble because they don't have belts. This hasn't happened for a while in this way. So that was kind of exciting. And it would definitely start pushing and forcing towards more stories between them instead of being in the title picture at Mania. Potentially, though, for Punk still, and for Cena, and for any of them. The jury's still out, we don't know yet. But seeing them all there, I thought was kind of cool, especially Roman being in a Rumble because he was champion for so long and so dominant for so long. It was good to see him in a Rumble where he didn't get immediately fucking booed.
And that he didn't win as well.
He did not win.
I think I would have been a little bit like, fuck's sake, if Roman had won the Rumble, honestly, I would have
Yeah, for
this
God's
bloodline stuff has been going on for so long now, and I know everybody's like, "Oh, yay, it's so good and stuff," but it's been going on for so long.
It's a saga.
It's never ending.
But luckily he didn't win because he was eliminated whilst brawling with Seth Rollins, which I think is the feud that they should really focus on between those two, because that bad blood took him off his guard, and CM Punk was able to eliminate them both. Then Logan Paul did the one good thing. He eliminated Punk and it landed right on his ass. But who looked maniacally at Roman. Roman was arguing with him like, what the fuck? Seth comes in and stomps on Roman's head. He is not done with Roman yet. He continues to assault him outside and actually stomps him onto the steel steps. Roman is actually now injured and he will be off for the foreseeable.
Yeah.
Written off Roman. And him and Punk brawled as well. And whenever they brawl, it always does feel like there's an element of real. It's like proper hockey in your fucking face, brawling, grabbing each other, moshing each other. It's proper dirty fighting. So that was cool. That did, however, leave us with three men. Logan Paul, John Cena, and Jey Uso. And you start to think, no. It's got to be Cena, right? Surely they're going to go with the Cena thing. They've been pushing that story all night. One last time. Logan Paul, please, God, no, do not give him the Rumble.
Absolutely not.
No. That is not the right call at all, WWE. And they didn't do that. Jey and John Cena ended up on the outside of the ropes.
Final two.
Slowly, as the final two, slowly punching each other for a while, it would seem. John Cena being so hammy. As a so slapstick with his moves, and he's like a clown, whoa, kind of thing. It's
the way he was selling, it was just so. It was so annoying. Just
I don't know when
calm
he
down,
that,
John.
But he just had
fucking clown.
I don't know what happened to him in the Firefly Funhouse, but he came out different the way he fucking wrestles.
Fucking Shawn Michaels selling.
It really did feel crazy. It did, but Jey Uso managed to avoid the AA on the side.
With a gentle push.
With a gentle push, just out you go, to create another visual, which I felt like it kind of took away from Jimmy's moment for a second, straight away.
Yeah, because we hang on Cena.
Hang on Cena's face. Because it's going to be in all the promos. No, we hang on Cena. Because on the camera.
Oh, no, you said Jimmy when you said Jay.
Oh, sorry, I meant to say Jay. Thank you. Hang on Cena looking like, oh my God, I didn't win, fuck. But then we go to Jay, and the moment realizes in, Jey Uso won the fucking Rumble.
Surprise!
No one saw that coming. No one saw that coming.
No one saw it coming, and a lot of people shot on it immediately.
They sadly did.
Sadly, but I have a point on that. Because I, at first, was not super excited. I was like, okay, fair enough. But two things, we said it before, they never surprise us. They haven't surprised us in a long time, especially in the men's Rumble. We've known consistently for the last few years who is going to win, and we've always pretty much been right.
The prediction books are full of ticks.
Yeah,
on
so
the WWE shows.
So nobody could predict, really, not necessarily that Jay won. And at first I was like, all right, whatever, I'm not into that. But I have since seen a lot of reactions of the kids, and it's so easy to forget that actually a big portion of the WWE audience are kids. A lot of them are the ones who buy the merch, they buy the toys, the duvet covers, the pencil gazes, everything, the kids. And I've seen so many videos of little boys, little girls just beside themselves because Jey Uso has won. I saw one little boy, he's even had his hair shaved like Jay, he's got like the mullet, he was convinced that Jay wasn't winning as soon as he saw that he was on the apron with Cena, and his reaction was phenomenal. He was just, like I say, beside himself. So I know that a lot of the grown-ups are like, what the fuck? But he's the kids champion. He's like, everybody enjoys Jey Uso. He's a lot of fun. I know he's not the most technically sound wrestler. I know he's not the most, exciting wrestler in the ring, but the younger audience, and there's a lot of them, love him, and so I can respect that. Let them have this, because this is their, looking back and being like, oh, I remember when I was 6 and Jey Uso won the Rumble. Like, this is their memory, the core memory of wrestling that they're going to have. We've all got those of remembering someone that we loved when we were kids finally winning something. So let them have it. And like I say, and you were saying before as well about the Netflix thing, he's hot at the minute.
Yeah.
So again, from a kind of channel Netflix point of view, it makes sense. Everybody else has got other shit to be dealing with. They've got to deal with each other before they should really even entertain the titles at the minute. So yeah, I'm not necessarily thinking, I don't think that we're actually going to get Gunther and Jay though. I think we might get someone else.
It's what they do. I think that's going to be the interesting lead up now.
It's how they do this.
How they're going to work it. Who's he going to face? That's going to be the interesting one.
We both think Sammy.
Could be.
Plus, also, one thing that came away from it was allegedly Drew not being happy with.
I think that was a load of blown up nothing. I think someone because that was proper dirt sheet stuff. I think that was just
he was
literally probably a bit annoyed.
Yeah, but I don't think it was.
I think it was blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was in the Daily Mail, so I think you can take that with a pinch of salt anyway.
Yeah,
the story goes that he was pissed because of Logan, LA Knight trying to get his moves in at the expense of Drew and Damian doing their spot for Damian to eliminate Drew to set up what was described as a nothing match Mania. If that was said, it would have been said in anger, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no heat on LA. It was what it was, and I'm sure it's been fucking sorted now.
I bet it happens so often.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Timings are off, all sorts gonna happen.
He seemed
Plus
confused. Sorry, yeah.
Plus it's Drew, and Drew just loves stirring things anyway.
He does.
Yeah.
He really does.
He can make anything that is insignificant look significant.
Yeah.
Because he wants to.
Yeah.
Because he has the ability to just
I love that.
toy with people.
Love it.
She loves a messy bitch.
I love a messy bitch. I do. Respect.
So yeah, that was the 2025 Rumble. My thoughts
right?
on Jey Uso. I was, I was tired, but I was excited for him. It wouldn't have been my choice, but like you say, I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going. I'm there for the ride. So yeah, but yeah, good time all around.
So last weekend saw myself going to Futureshock to see the double-header show, which the first part was Lotto Thunder, which, for those of you that don't know, obviously is a tournament where it is 8 wrestlers in 4 quarterfinals. Those advance into a semi-final. The semi-finals go into the final, and the winner gets a shot at the heavyweight title.
Lovely.
So it's a bit like the Futureshock tournament, except you can. That's more like Money in the Bank, in a sense. So saying that Lotto Thunder last year just seemed to be randomly selected. But I think the Lotto Thunder is more you can select when, whereas the Futureshock tournament is just cash it in.
Oh, okay.
But then again, who makes up the law? I don't. So yeah, so we should have had. I'll run through the ones that were in the tournament. So we've had trying to ruin the surprise. So we had Anderson Daniels and Troy Ryan of Meat Wagon.
Mm-hmm.
We had Big Deck McCarthy.
Yeah.
We also had... Who else did we have? Scott Oberman, who is the Adrenaline champion.
Mm.
And then we had a few wild cards because HT Drake unfortunately had to pull out.
Oh, dear.
No.
So, and he did say, whenever I seem to miss out, the show improves when he's not there. I beg to differ. But anyhow, so the first match we had was the returning Bryek Strong, the Hunter.
Nice.
He took on Gorgon in a match that didn't particularly last very long. I think we got it about 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
As he faced Gorgon, who is a heel, and Bryek Strong, who is a heel. I think you'll see where this trend goes after the first 2 matches. Strong debuted one of his new finishes, which is a bit like the Hidden Blade, where it's a forearm smash to the back of the head. I'm trying to remember what a certain person described it as instead of Hidden Blade. I think it was like the Vanishing Knife or something like that. Just so it wasn't copyright. But Strong advanced to the quarterfinals.
Okay.
The next match, and I have a prop for this, saw Anderson Daniels of Meat Wagon, and during the first 2 matches at least, we had Ashley Bradbury, no relation. He's obviously the ring announcer at Futureshock, and his beautiful assistant, quotation marks beautiful, was one Danny Proper, who was up on the stage, almost being like, play your cards right.
Yeah.
So obviously, as
any Danny Proper is good, Danny Proper.
And it was it's kind of the way he sounds and the tone can make even the most exciting thing not particularly sound exciting, which isn't detrimental to him. It is more of a positive, I find.
Yeah.
But you do have one of these cards, which won't show up because I've got it on.
The ghost does not want this.
There you go.
Oh, nicely done.
Hey.
So you have these cards. So you have an audience member give a number 1 to 8. They then turn it over because they don't know who's going to come out. It's random.
Oh, okay.
Which is always interesting how they can put a match together. But the second match was Anderson Daniels. And unbeknownst to Danny Proper, it was Danny Proper.
Hey!
And the look on his face when he sees the card.
Yeah.
I am still unsure if he genuinely did not know if he was in the match.
He sold so
in the
well.
tournament at all. Because he has... I'll try and see if I can find the the actual photo to send you. I really don't think he knew too much about what was going on. In the fact that he did look up at kind of the balcony.
Yeah.
As if to say, what's going on?
Love that.
What's going on?
I do love a surprise entrance.
Oh, yeah.
I will find it. I can edit this. No one's going to know.
I know, it's still a good thing. Best surprise entrance.
I think that's the one.
No, I've been struggling with that one.
So I've just sent you the photo in the in the WhatsApp group. That was his face when they practically said it was Danny Proper.
Oh, bless him.
Awarded a pair of knee pads and wrist tape. of which the knee pads weren't his and didn't fit him properly.
Oh no!
And had to put the wrist tape and everything on while Daniels made his entrance.
Oh my goodness.
Which was really
some kind of rib.
She kept saying to him, "Oh, you'll do well, you'll do well," and he really didn't have a clue what was going on. As photo number 2, which I'm sending you right now, was him putting it on. The match itself was very comedic. Obviously, with 2 of the funniest people on the circuit in the meat wagon and Proper.
Yeah.
Proper says, "I haven't done any exercise. I haven't done any." So the match, so to speak, involved Anderson Daniels saying, let's do some squats. So of course they do squats in the ring.
And warm up.
As you do, you're warming up.
Yeah.
Then they did press ups, to which Anderson tells Danny to do some press ups, and he does. Daniels kind of sits on his back, almost like he, as you'd see, like really tough fit drill instructors do, where they sit on your back to add more weight.
Yeah.
So obviously Danny does that. He tries to do something else. Proper then goes for a roll up.
Yeah.
That starts. Proper, I think, really wasn't prepared. I hope that was the case, because he really did not. He looked knackered with no like preparation whatsoever. But the match went on probably about, I don't know, 6 minutes or so. Didn't go. All of them seemed to be very quick.
Just just fun.
Yeah. So Daniel won with a schoolboy jackknife pin, as I was described.
Nice.
To which Daniels couldn't believe he got the free. Proper looked proper annoyed. Spent most of the match just saying the knee pads don't fit.
Working without the right equipment, it's not ideal.
I'm hoping it was a rib.
Yeah, exactly. I really would love the idea of us like, we're going to get Danny tonight. It's going to be
poor Danny Proper.
So you had Daniels qualifying through to the semi-finals. The next match was Troy Ryan of Meat Wagon. At this point, Proper had disappeared. Obviously, he had other places to be. I think we know where. So we had another of the wild cards, or the final wild card, and that was the head coach of the Futureshock PC, in one Samuel Bailey.
Okay, nice.
Nice.
Before that, Prince Pele had come out to be the new card dealer dolly, so to speak.
Of course.
As he did last year.
Right.
But last year he was injured, so he couldn't do much.
Yeah.
He was in all his wrestling attire, ready to be the wild card. So when he turned the card, it said wild card, but it had Sam Bailey. He was a bit devastated, but Sam came up to him, gave him a little hug, had a little kiss, and Sam came to the ring. And I mean, Ryan and Bailey are funny anyhow in their different styles. It was a fun wrestling match. Bailey tried to use strength against Ryan.
Nice.
Wow.
Wise move.
It was
so it's like charging up Electro. Point. Ryan wins with the fall of Troy, which is like a F5 kind of maneuver for those who haven't seen it. So that's all. Ryan advancing to the semi-finals. And then we came to the final qualifying, which was Big Deck McCarthy going up against one Scott Oberman, who, if things had fallen into place, would have had about 4 or 5 matches, because he was facing, or he did face Kid Lycos 2 later in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have had quarterfinal, semi-final, under-final, and then would have faced Lycos.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also would have faced Joey Hayes for the heavyweight title in the main event. That would have been
Is
fine.
he right?
So everyone's really excited to see how this goes. Both men square up, nose to nose, proper chirping. Referee Liam calls for the bell, and as soon as Liam turns round, probably not even 1 second passes, Oberman shoves Liam to the ground.
Oh no!
Liam calls for the bell. Oberman acts like, "What's happened? What have I done? The referees are screwing me." McCarthy smiles, smirks, advances because he hasn't done a thing. Oberman continues to.
Wait, so he. Why did he get disqualified? What?
For shoving the official.
Oh, he pushed the ref.
Liam.
Thought. Sorry, when he said he turned round, I thought he meant he pushed Declan to the ground, and for some reason I didn't hear. My bad.
Yeah.
So both Oberman and McCarthy were looking at one another. Liam turned to the ring bell, called for the bell, and when he turned back round, he then gets shoved by Oberman.
So don't know why that didn't piece together for me. I apologise.
So then we had the interval. I had a photo with everyone that was in the tournament.
Lovely.
Nice.
Best £5 I've probably paid.
Oh yeah.
So we moved on to the semi-finals, which saw, well, people were hoping for a meat wagon final.
Oh right, yeah.
It didn't happen.
Oh.
Bright Strong took on Anderson Daniels. However, before the ring bell went and Daniels was on the middle rope doing his normal poses, Strong came from behind and proceeded to target his ankle. So he weakened the meat wagon's ankle. As the match went on, it was pretty much him just working
the ankle.
Yeah.
Used that invisible knife, blade, whatever you want to call it. There probably is a term for it, but I don't know what it is yet because I've not watched. So Strong advances to the final. The other semi featured McCarthy and Troy Ryan. Ryan wins with a roll-up in what was a hard-hitting, meaty clash with two sirloin sumbitches.
Yeah, big meaty boys.
Sirloin sumbitches.
It was pretty much a. I'll say this for certain, but when you have that much meat in this competition, it's I'll come to that in a second.
No.
But yeah. Ryan advanced, so we had the Hunter Bright Strong against Troy Ryan in Lotto Thunder final. Before we got to the grand final, we had tag team action. This is one thing I will bring up about it. So we had FTM, Finely Tuned Machines, in Pritchie and Tom McCall, as they faced the 05, a new rookie tag team.
Yeah.
The weird thing about it was the 05 were number one contenders. Yeah, I can only remember them winning once.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
But they were number one contenders for the title. Oh, sorry. They were going to face off, I should say, for the number one contendership in the evening.
Right.
So they lost to the FTM.
Okay.
Surely you would have had, the 05, build him up a bit before a number one contender.
Yeah, that would have been that probably would, especially if you got people going to both shows. It's like
Yeah,
we just lost. Why didn't FTM get that spot?
Well, they have a thing at the moment. Well, Critchy at least, because we don't really hear from McCall. But Critchy tried to make a speech, but all we could hear was boos because it's Critchy.
Yeah.
Saying that Futureshock management are taking advantage. They're doing all this. They don't get title shots. Pretty much standard Critchy. So FTM won with the Countdown to Ecstasy, as the move was called. Whether it still is, I don't know.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Brilliant.
So FTM wins, which has the
not a shot.
Going into a number one contenders match, as that one was built as a tune-up match.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Yes. There's a few things that didn't make sense. So
okay. Fair enough.
We then come to the Lotto Thunder final. As I say, was the Hunter Bright Strong and Troy Ryan. Meat upon meat. Meat fest. More meat fest than us. Oh, I nearly said something I shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
But I managed to stop myself. I mean, it was for a final. It was a really fun encounter. The problem I had as well with this was they kicked out of a finisher each. Ryan kicked out of the whatever Strong was calling his new kind of secondary finisher, which when you've just debuted a new one, surely you wouldn't want to waste that straight away, but hey ho, it happened. Ryan hit the Fall of Troy, so everyone thought he was going to win. That got kicked out of. Didn't make much sense. Strong then hit his main finisher, the Hunted, and became Lotto Thunder winner for 2025, guaranteeing him a title shot later in the evening.
Very
nice. Okay. Cool.
We then come to the evening show entitled Deadline Day and themed around Sky Sports transfer deadline day goings on.
Okay.
Where if you saw the videos leading into it, Isaiah Quinn was effectively doing the Sky Sports presenting.
Brilliant.
And
love him.
Honestly, if you haven't seen them, really do try and catch some of them, because you had, I think it was Tony Wright did a promo video.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Did one from his car.
Yeah, I've seen some of them.
The Zumberweights did one by the sea in pitch black conditions and looked frozen to death. It was really good.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are on TikTok.
Oh, nice.
So, the first match was Sam Bailey taking on Peter Sador, who is that well-known Canadian wrestler who went to Canada on his holidays once, and that's pretty much why he's Canadian.
He loved that shit.
Yeah. To be honest, I love watching Peter Sador wrestle. He's good, but he's funny, and he's great at just talking as well. He's like a fun MJF.
Cool.
Nice.
I'd like to see this guy. You're talking
New
about
to him. Yeah, let's have a look at him.
Because in the Fairfield Social Club a couple of weeks ago, he was in like one of the strange matches they had where everyone that punched him in the chin would shake the hand and say, "Is your chin made of granite?" Because he's a handsome boy, but he has a bit of a big chin.
Fair
Tried to make out he's got like a granite chin. It is a nice little touch, but I do like Peter Sador. Unfortunately, the Canuckian lost to the package pile driver.
Devastation.
But it was comedic.
Okay, cool.
As they are both good at it. We then had the number one contenders match for the tag team titles between the 05 and the Zombieweights. This personally should have been a lot shorter than it was, because it did drag on for quite a bit. It didn't help. Also, you had two teams that were babyface teams.
Right. Oh, okay.
Just
no one
sometimes
seems
dynamic with people, don't it?
Yeah.
to which Zombieweights, I think, tried to. I'm still trying to figure out. I think Zombieweights tried to be a bit more heelish, but they didn't really do anything heelish.
Right. Okay.
A bit,
They're trying to get the balance.
Yeah. So the crowd kind of got took out of it a bit because no one knew who to cheer for.
Yeah.
Apart from
throw off.
Yeah.
Sometimes it really can do that.
Apart from members of one of the 05's family who kept cheering. So there was a large proportion that were cheering for the 05.
Nice.
Bless them. The 05 took victory.
Nice.
Then we had one match that I was really looking forward to, which was for the Adrenaline Championship. And that pitted Scott Oberman, the champion, against Kid Lycos 2.
Oh.
It wasn't what I kind of expected. I don't think many people fully knew who Lycos 2 was. I think you'll probably say the same for Lycos.
Yeah.
You're quite right.
Yeah.
But Lycos 2, love Lycos 2. Definitely one of the most underrated wrestlers in the UK. Fast rising, I think.
Absolutely.
Another one, fast rising. We had a strange incident towards the back where Oberman seemed to complain about his leg. So he didn't know whether this was him kind of play acting or whether he genuinely tweaked his knee or leg. But I think someone that we know very well, that I was sat with, kind of said it felt very disjointed after that particular thing.
Okay.
So they did go on for like another 5-8 minutes.
Yeah.
But that really seemed to just take the whole steam out of the match, which was a really solid match, but it could have been far better. But
sometimes those moments of drama can be hit and miss, can't they? Like, you sometimes you can have like a real like, jeopardy. Oh crap, they're injured, and then maybe they pulled the wool over your eyes. Like, oh, they got us dickhead, and it froze.
Playing possum.
Exactly, and sometimes it works really well. Like Billy Starks in Ring of Honor when she did it, it was crazy. I know it's a bigger stage, but you know what I mean. Sometimes it really can kill the momentum.
But it's still the thing of, I think we've worked out it was a bit of a heel move, but normally if you do that, the heel will then try and play possum. Yeah, but we never got that. But as he was leaving the ring, I will say as well, he did retain his title with his spinning tombstone move that he hits.
Nice.
But after the match, he did seem to very gingerly get out the ring. Greenwood had to kind of hold the rope down.
Yeah.
It was just a very weird,
unsure
match thing, which I think hurt it, because I think both wrestlers are far better. So I'm hoping it was more like a precautionary thing.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it was just not actually injured, and it was just like a bit. Hopefully, and if not, I hope he's okay.
Because I think he wrestled the following day, so obviously he was fine. So, but yeah, it just kind of. I think this played very much to the day of. It was bit ebbed and flowed the day and some of the matches.
Yeah.
Which it's rare for Futureshock to have like shows like normally they're all bangers. This just didn't particularly hit right. We then had Tony Wright versus Joe Blazer in a kind of grudge match of sorts.
Nice. Yeah.
Blazer has been unofficial friends of Tony Wright. So Blazer's been like championing him. December, we saw Blazer finally turn on Wright, preventing him from becoming the Futureshock champion.
Bad Blazer.
So Blazer and Wright have been kind of like going at it.
Yeah.
So this was, whether it's the blow-off match, I don't know. But Tony Wright would win with a pedigree.
Lovely.
Tony Wright came out though very focused, wasn't his normal happy-go-lucky self, which tells you this is going to be a serious.
Yeah, I love serious Tony Wright.
Yeah, this felt very much like it was in the grudge match type.
Love.
Blazer constantly trying to hit Wright. The start of the match had Joe trying to hit an elbow drop on Wright as he rolled back into the ring, but then Tony would roll back out and saw Joe eating Matt. The final two matches saw Gorgon, who was defeated in the Lotto tournament earlier in the day. He set out an open challenge to anyone to face him, and Dr. Proctor stepped up to accept the challenge.
Oh, nice.
So it was a solid enough match. I can't really expand on that anymore. Gorgon won with a submission. I've got it down thanks to my friend because I couldn't see from my angle. I had the referee and he had the move on the other way round, but I was told it was a double armbar and like the Venus de Milo move that Diana Perazzo uses.
Oh, right. Nice. Jesus.
I would like to see that move done like convincingly live. I really would, because I think it's one of the. It looks like such. When she pulls it off well, it looks brutal. I really love that submission move. Because
we had the back view of it and it looked very very sore. To which Jack's face was just like, yeah, gnarly.
Yeah.
And the main event saw Joey Haynes taking on Bryke Strong for the title. Solid enough match. I can't really say too much about it. Joey was his normal self. Strong had his moments. Strong looked like he was on his way, but I think everyone knew he wasn't going to win. And so Haynes hitting. Well, I say hitting. He locked in the crossface for the tap-out victory to retain his title. And that pretty much summed up the show overall. Wasn't... I will say this before I get any comments. I am normally really positive on Futureshock shows.
Yeah, you are.
However, there have been times where sometimes just doesn't click.
Yeah.
And this day just didn't really click. It was a solid. It was a 7 at best.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good. It was middle of the road.
Fair
but
enough.
No doubt the next show, which is on the 23rd, I think, while I try and get 23rd of February at the Stockport Guildhall. No doubt that will be a great show because they always seem to be in Stockport. Now let's go on to our roving reporters in your evening.
Yeah.
So we actually got out to a show.
Yeah, we did. It was our first live show of the year, which was really exciting, and it was a good show to bloody start with. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think we looked out on that one as far as kind of which show to go to because it banged. It was a really good fun
we were
night.
very treated. So we went along to Infamous up in Runcorn at the Masonic Hall for Stand Your Ground and Fight, which sounds so much better in DJ King's voice, doesn't it?
It does. It sounds really good. Like, because all I can hear, because I always hear from Green Street when he says, "You stand your ground and fight," and then you hear DJ King say it, and it's like he's just got fight. He's got this gruffness in his voice.
It's the scoutness. I love it. It really adds something.
It. Yeah, it makes you want to fight.
So I can't remember what order everything went in.
I've got it here.
Oh, you have got it there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
But I do know what we started with, so I'll go with that. So the first match of the night wound up being a debuting Kid Lycos versus a well-loved Lance Rivera. And like you said earlier about Lycos 2, Kid Lycos, not sure if he was particularly known. He didn't get the huge. He did get a pop, but he didn't get the big kind of what I'm used to hearing whenever Lycos is on a card like a Progress or whatever.
Yeah.
But if they didn't know him when he walked out, they knew him when he left. They had a great match. It was really fun to see them two. There was some, kind of respect spots. They quite perfectly matched each other. It was just a really fun, strong match, and I genuinely would love to see them go at it again. It ended in it was a draw.
Time limit draw.
So I hope we actually are going to see that again somewhere. I don't know where they'll do it. Hopefully they'll do it Infamous again. But yeah, just Lance is very well loved with the Infamous crowd. He's like a contender at the minute, isn't he? For he won the Spooky Scramble back in October, so he's like quite the little tear there. And if you can watch the match that they had together, definitely do, because it was a lot of fun and really great introduction to the Infamous audience for Kid Lycos, I thought.
Yeah, well, like you say, I thought it was a choice putting them on first because not knowing, like, I think the pop was probably expected to be a bit bigger. I don't know, but by the end of the match, even if they didn't know he was getting "Please Come Back" chants.
Yeah.
People didn't want the match to end. When it hit the time limit draw, it was fucking brilliant because everyone's screaming 5 more minutes. At the beginning, there wasn't that much noise. People were just kind of settling into it. By the end of the match, people were shouting, cheering. It was such a fast-paced, breakneck speed of pace of a match.
Yeah.
Lycos really was able to bring that to the stage. He moves so fucking quickly. I always forget how very, very fast he is.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of energy, and people wanted to see that match resolve, which is what you want. So Time Limit Draw was a very, very good move to introduce Kid Lycos and keep Lance clean. No one loses, everyone saves face.
Yeah.
And they have a respect spot in the end, like you say.
It was face versus face kind of situation, but obviously, like, if Lycos could get away with doing some kind of like
he did a couple of oh, this is your guy. Once he had him in quite in like an armbar kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he did try and kind of make it more like, all right, you boo me thing. But by the end of it, like I say, it didn't really matter.
Everyone shouting 5 more minutes. DJ King's like, no, we've got a fucking schedule.
His credit wasn't refusing to go over schedule for it, and you know what? I respect that, DJ. I respect it.
Yeah, so they're gonna run that shit back.
They should,
because it was very, very good.
I'd pay good money to see it again if I'm honest. Genuinely would. And then what did we have next?
Next up, we had Lewis Johnson. He was supposed to face Liam Carr in a big boy match.
Big boy!
However, sadly, at the Ignition Rumble, Liam Carr got injured. He came out on crutches, God bless him, so he came out to face his opponent and say, well, I've got you a replacement. And then Nishiki comes out.
which was his debut at Infamous, I believe.
It was indeed, yeah. And we've seen him on shows before. We've never seen him live.
Yeah.
So that was a real treat. And he didn't just have one, because Nishiki's a small boy and Lewis Johnson's is big boy.
He's a big boy.
So he needs a bit extra. So how about 2 small boys? And I mean, we're a big NJ fans in this house. So and NJ came out to Elevator Operator. More on that later. And he came out. So you had these very 2 quick, very strong boys, fast boys against a very big strong boy.
Yeah.
It was a good match. It was. We had a lot of those 2 teaming up to get Lewis out of the match, after he beat the fuck out of them both.
Yeah.
And then when he was out, they had
a fantastic sequence when they got Liam out of the ring, and then AJ and Nishiki faced each other, and they kind of all right, let's do this. They had a really, really great sequence, which I did share on my Instagram and my TikTok, I think. It was a really fast, beautiful, tight sequence. Would love to see. I'd actually like to see them as a tag team because they work well together against
They had really good chemistry, so that was a great match. Lewis Johnson did take the pin in the end, as he was probably going to. Yeah.
Wait, Lewis Johnson won?
Yeah.
You just said took the pin.
You said took the pin.
Took the pin as in took it from them. I meant to say
he won.
He
didn't take a pin.
I worded that.
Victory is what you mean.
I completely. I didn't say words good.
But also I will point out, just like in Futureshock with some shithousery towards the referees.
Some serious.
Sandy Beaches was refereeing this match, and we were faced with some absolute shithousery from Lewis. He pulled her out of the ring, squared up to her.
He did, yeah.
To her credit, she didn't back down. She's just like, so credit to Sandy because he towered over her. But he did it. There was some absolute shithouse behaviour from Lewis, but it was a good fun match. It was a surprise. We weren't expecting it. We didn't necessarily know Liam Carr's status necessarily at that point. So
going into it, we weren't sure, but it seemed we when we saw the card we were like, there's an asterisk on that because he went out of that rumble quick.
Yeah.
Like it was a bad situation. It really sucked. So
but that was a lovely surprise and a really well put together match. So that was fun.
That was a lot.
Crowd really got. They love NJ.
Yeah.
And that Nishiki, really good debut for him. Everybody really enjoyed that. So the energy was really good.
By the end of the first match, that energy was high. Second match, third match, all the way to the end.
Just ate it up with the spoon after that.
They really did. The rest of the night, it stayed right up there.
Yeah.
Including going into the next match between Lucy Sky and Moxie Malone. Who I only know from ICW myself, and very little of. I only know a name and I've seen clips.
Yeah, I'd been told about her. So many people have said like, "Oh, you need to see this chick," and it was her debut at Infamous.
Yeah, and
was not disappointed. Her crowd work was excellent. She was definitely the heel in the situation, and she very much let everybody know it. It was great.
Yeah, I do like to point out that when she came out, because there was no noise for her because people didn't really know who she was, we did cheer in our section, kind of thinking at the same time, it's like, pretty sure she's the bad guy, but screw it, she is definitely our vibe because she's like.
We cheer heels. I always cheer heels.
We cheer heels, but she had like the kind of like the rock look going on. It was like
she was awesome.
She's called Moxie Malone. It's a badass name. It's like this chick straight away. Immediately good vibes.
And
but I could tell it's like. But she's going against Lucy Sky and Infamous. She's the heel here.
She's definitely
cheering her right now.
Yeah, I think they're all used to us cheering the heels in there. To be honest.
Yeah.
But and her and Lucy Sky went on to have a decent match.
Yeah.
It was fast paced. Like I say, a great introduction to Moxie. Lucy is loved by the Infamous crowd, and rightfully so. She really does put everything into what she's doing when she's in the ring.
Yeah.
I can't remember who won. Lucy won, obviously. Yeah, Lucy won. But I really, really want to see more of Moxie anywhere. I mean, I don't know how long the match went on.
Neither do I. I don't know.
But I feel like I wanted a little bit more. So I could just see a bit more of Moxie and Lucy, but of Moxie because I'm very new to her, so I was just being greedy there. But yeah, overall it was a strong match, and I'm excited to see more of Moxie Malone just anywhere really. I know she's popping up all over the place at the minute. She's definitely one to watch.
Gotcha. So really good fun. But then we get into the final match of the first half of the show. Now this one was a feckin' doozy because it involved a bunch of it was mad. So it was for the infamous title, and it was a hardcore rules match between champion Isaac North comes out to work of art and
Ice Nine Kills.
Ice Nine Kills. He's got all the face paint. He's terrifying, but he was facing the King Freak, the Death Wolf. He is Alton fucking Fawn, and so we were very psyched for this one.
Yeah.
We stood with Peter McCarthy, who's a big Alton Fawn fan as well, and he was losing his shit.
Yeah.
It was going to be a very, very good match. Well, the
Alton's debut as well.
Alton's debut in Infamous.
Lots of debuts at this Infamous. Really felt like the whole show felt
great way for them to start the year.
Felt big, didn't it? It had lots of debuts, but like names, people, like Alton Thorne is a name when it comes to like
the country
hardcore and deathmatch wrestling, and now he's here wrestling Isaac North, and it's a PG show. And honestly, that and Miles said it himself as well. That was the best PG hardcore match I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, same.
Genuinely,
it was the closest you could get to taking it over the edge, and they really pushed the limits of what they could do.
Yeah.
But even with just like chair shots to the back, I've never seen on television or in person chair shots to the back like they were throwing at each other. It was brutal.
They took it to each other.
They really did.
Yeah, there was a press pins tack spot. They went outside at one point into the car park.
Took everyone with them as well. Like Alton even said, "Are you coming or what?"
Yeah, just
everyone starts to vacate. Now, if you don't know, my beloved is in a wheelchair sometimes at shows. It's because moving around it sucks. And there was a bunch of people who were not able to get outside, so immediately it was right. I'll WhatsApp call you.
Yeah, he video called us, and there was a group of us sat around my phone. Aaron from Render Bomb came out as well because he wanted to see what was going on. So we all got to see on my phone what was going on outside. We saw like Alton, I think it was Alton being thrown into a wall, and I was like, "Watch me come!"
They were really like doing very like. Just beating the shit out of each other on the concrete, doing whatever they can. Alton's just constantly mouthing all the way through the match. He's such a good talker.
Yeah.
It's something I didn't.
Such a great
I've not been able
talker.
to see live myself. I knew he was, but he's such a good talker. I loved it. Isaac. So it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, we came back in. It just kept going. It was constant chaos. That's when we got the pin spot. Everyone was asking for tables. It was like.
Can't do tables in here, guys.
But he goes and gets a red cup and just pours them out. And honestly, it wasn't like a bag of thousands of tacks or something.
It was enough,
like that, but it was concentrated, and that was enough.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who took the worst of the spot. However, I believe it was Alton who took it more so than anyone else. He did pour them, to be fair. There's a moment where. I can't remember what I was about to say, so I'm going to move forward. But it was just a very fun, brutal match. And like you say, for a family show, we've been to shows that aren't family shows, that are like meant to be like, you're hearing F-word bombs all over the place. And it was nowhere near as hardcore as that.
Yeah. They were like, we've seen
take notice kind of thing where people need to watch that. And this is the thing with Infamous. Every time I've gone to a show, they've done that. They put on a match that's like, you need to get this match out there to people.
And yeah, it was a really tight match. It was really close. Like there was some near falls. You didn't actually, and at some points it was like Alton could take this. Ultimately, Isaac North did retain.
He did.
However, I want to see them two go at it again,
Please and
but
thank you.
not in a PG environment.
No.
No, but someone needs to make that happen. Like, I don't care where, but well, hopefully somewhere I can physically get into. And then, or out, as long as I can get to the venue and inside it, awesome. But I'd love to see them to go out again with a great debut. So we've had the first half of the show was super strong, some great debuts. We've had some fun. My daughter brought her best friend with her, and it's her first kind of proper wrestling show, and she's never seen a hardcore match either. And so that was her first ever hardcore match, and it was live, and she loved it. Though
Really
she
got
did
into it.
say that, what was it? She said, it scared her out of her socks. Isaac North scared her out of her socks. So I think that's what he's going for. So he's doing great.
He did his job well then.
He did a great job. Yeah, he nailed
Very
it.
well.
So yeah. And then the interval. We had the interval,
and then so when we came back from the interval, they had a tag team match between Act 2, Benjamin Harland and Jack Knudsen, and our boy Ian Skinner and his tag partner Charlie Weiss. Charlie, an old friend of Skinner from when he was in Scotland.
Used to be a tag team.
Here. They used to be a tag team, and now he's here. And Ian and Jack had one of the matches of the year last year for me.
Yeah.
And so going into this and seeing the chemistry that they had there, and everyone knew this was going to bang.
Mm-hmm.
The addition of Ben and Charlie was just it could only have made things better, and it did, because it allowed them to kind of expand on the story they were telling, the match that they were having.
Yeah.
They could now. Ian had more of a chance to be a bit of a bullshitter, dick around. He's got a mate there that he can play off.
Yeah, like at first he wouldn't get in the ring with Jack, so every time Jack got in the ring, Skinner would tag Weiss in.
Yes.
And he'd get out, and he was just like spent a good amount of time just like fucking around with Knudsen and just like avoiding him and stuff, and that was good, because obviously we want to see them two clash again. And so to be kind of like teased for a while of them before they even actually got into it with each other was a very nice touch.
It was. And Jack's constant, like, he was getting more and
real
more
mad,
really
yeah,
frustrated, which was really good to see. And Ben to kind of like be the kind of like the calming factor in
yeah,
the
he's trying to keep him
situation,
chill, like don't let him get to you.
while simultaneously trying to work out Ian Skinner and Charlie Weiss. It was very cool. And Jack's like, you see what I'm fucking dealing with, kind of thing. So it was really, really good. And Charlie Weiss, I'd like to say, lovely bloke. Spoke to him afterwards.
Yes.
Seems quite reserved, but low key, as well as being very hard hitting, just as hard hitting as all of them, really. Low key hilarious.
Oh yeah.
In the very small, like, nuanced things he was doing, like the way he'd interact with Ian. Ian's very kind of like open about the fact that he's a piece of shit.
he's quite the showy one, and then he's Weiss is quite like
reserved.
So quite
to see him just kind of like, it's the odd nods and the smiles and the little things, and when he does them, it's like it's proper. It was just very, very funny. He had this air about him, with just like very welcoming, while simultaneously being very, very hard hitting. And he also threw out a scream when he was being launched by Ben. Twice he screamed, but like a proper
high pitched scream.
Or Mark Quinn even like, as he goes over, it was fucking hilarious.
Cracked me the fuck up.
Through some standard shithousery. Was it a low blow, or was it a title to the head, or something? Probably. I can't remember.
Probably all of them.
Probably all the above.
It's Skinner, and that's why we love him.
It is true. We do. He's a cool guy with lots of friends. And he took the pin, and I believe he pinned Knudsen. Did he pin Knudsen?
I honestly can't remember, because we've watched so much wrestling, but they won.
And it was very, very good. So another very, very good match, and something I'd like to see keep going. I'd like to see Charlie Weiss again, another great debut. I believe that's the last of our debuts this evening.
Was it?
No.
Was it?
It wasn't actually.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
Lies.
Fib.
Lies through tiny eyes. So moving on, we had Joe Kessler, big boy, versus Declan McCarthy. What's he doing here?
Duty!
Oh my god! So, in his technically third match of the evening, but not third match of the evening because of some absolute nonsense, which I'm pretty sure as soon as that happened, I'd have been fucking fuming. Like, no, this was going to be a good match.
Yeah, it was just being edged there, really, weren't you?
We were very edged.
But we got a great match.
We did.
So...
We got a proper hoss fight. This is the thing. This show legitimately had everything.
It was a buffet.
It really was. You had some a lot of technical stuff at the beginning with Kid Lycos and Lance, as well as some speedy quicks. Najay and Nishiki brought the flying and
high flying, yeah,
as well as the big meat, the hardcore match, tag team match, and then hoss fight.
Yep.
And it was a fucking hoss fight.
They went to town.
They really did. There was just the chops, the punches. You could, because we were so close in Masonic Hall, so it's not that big.
Those chops
were brutal. We've got some on camera, and you can hear them. They ring throughout the room. It's absolutely stunning. So good. Declan McCarthy gets the win over Joe Kessler. Declan McCarthy is the first ever infamous champ, and he was out for a while.
Yeah.
And his return last time was a really beautiful, fun moment for everyone.
Yeah,
it was
a really
cool.
Nice moment.
And so when DJ King's music started playing at the end of the match, you could kind of potentially see where this was going. He came out, he gave him his flowers, and basically just kind of said, right, listen, you have got yourself a title match against Isaac North. So, and I believe that's happening at the next show, which is very exciting in April. So, yeah, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Next up, we had the babyface Pitbull, who's, I only know him as that. I don't know his name. I forget it every time. I do know, but I can't remember. And he laid out an open challenge. Now, in our second, oh my God, time travel.
Yeah.
Because Danny Proper arrives in the coolest, funkiest gear ever done seen him.
Yeah.
He has so Pitbull
Danny
in the script. No, just keep going. In the previous show, the Pitbull came out, and it was very awkward and weird. He had this whole thing with DJ, but basically it seems to be leading to something with DJ.
Yeah.
Because he keeps giving DJ shit.
They've got a history.
They've got a big history between each other. He tried to talk respect and tell me that respected him. Pitbull didn't believe him, gave him shit. He said, I'll take on anyone. Takes on Danny Proper. Gets mad throughout the match. And I believe he wouldn't let go on a 5, or did he hit him with something to low blow him? I can't. Again, this is why we're dreadful. But it ended in
shithousery.
It was very shithousery. However, through disqualification, Danny Proper won. What matters though is after the match when he continues to attack Danny Proper, and the ring crew come in.
Yep.
And he proceeds to beat the shit out of them, including a lady. And as soon as he put his hands on the lady and he grabbed her shirt, he right in her face, froze her to the side of the ring. Brutal. DJ King comes out like an absolute hero.
Yeah.
His music hits, but he doesn't run out. He walks like Michael Myers pace, where it's just like he's
DJ
there and
King
then he's there.
Walked towards me, the way he walked towards that ring, I genuinely would shit my pants.
It was fucking terrifying.
He was scary.
So cool, man. And then he gets in and they brawl.
DJ gets in and he starts throwing hands, and yeah.
So whatever this is leading to,
dare I say, we may be going to get a DJ King match.
I think he needs to. He's got some business to take care of.
Clearly something going on there.
And there's too much bad blood for it not to go.
Shit, I don't like this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Fuck him up, DJ. Fuck him up.
And we know that DJ is willing to go to the extreme in order to close off something that needs to end, an argument that needs to end that's been going on for too long.
He puts a full stop on the end of something if he has to. So,
so for example, our main event of the evening.
Yes.
It is
One of his
elevator eliminator match, a world first, ladies and gentlemen. This is never been done before. And in the Masonic Hall, using a lift that did or did not work properly the way that it was meant to.
The entire way through the match.
Went into business for itself, but we'll get there.
Briefly, but it came back round. So
this was between Chav, which is Cancel House and Violent. That is, let me just make sure I've got everyone's name yet. So we've got Connor Klein, Jack Johnson, Jack Critchlow, Tom McCall, and Jack Envy. So
that's
against
Jax, isn't that?
That's a Jax, and that was against Lance Rivera and VGS. Lance Rivera being the fifth man, who was quite the surprise.
I was going to say, yeah, so leading up to this match, VGS could not find a fifth man. They'd asked multiple people, couldn't get anyone to agree to it. And so even on the day, we still did not know who was going to be the fifth man. And when they got in the ring, only 4 of them came out. It wasn't till like a couple of minutes before Chav came out.
Yeah.
Lance come running out, I'm on your side. So, yeah, nobody knew it was going to be Lance. So he did double duty that night.
He did indeed. And in a war as well. So he had a 50-minute time limit match against Kid Lycos and then came out and had a war with Chav.
Yes. and the only way I can... So to explain the elevator elimination match is kind of what you would expect. It's not pinfall submission or anything like that. You are eliminated from the match when you are placed in the lift, the door is closed, and you are taken up by Najay. He operates the lift. Yeah, that's it. And it felt like a little mini stadium stampede. That is the only way I could describe it. It was...
It had that energy.
They were immediately out of the ring. We had Quintessential with VGS. They are obviously straight over the top rope, brawling out in front of us. Uncle Ryan was also there with Chav.
In his heelish little shitty ways.
So he was obviously getting involved. It was just pure chaos. There was some really brilliant moments. There's a moment where Tommy Jackson just like emerges behind. Was it Salford Jacks?
Salford Jacks. They had the amazing match at the previous show.
Yeah, so they've got a kind of like a little feud going between themselves as well. So like, but I can't wait to see the shot because I guarantee Tommy Jackson's got his face painted like a skull, so he looks pretty badass as well. So he just emerges from behind him and just wrecks Jack.
It's scary, man. It's so good.
Yeah, we've got Quintessential. There's some miscommunication at some point, and
Casey Payne accidentally takes out Christy.
At one point, the lift decides to go into business for itself. At which point, Christy actually had said, like, "Oh, we're going to just do this pinfall and submission." Proceeds to pin Critchy, who, by the way, is the Soft Pro Hardcore Champion 24/7. Just gonna throw that out there. But by this point, the lift is now working. I'm not sure if that elimination actually stuck. And
there was so much happening. It was actually quite easy to miss some stuff. That was the only problem because there was so much, which is why a watch back is essential.
But I do want to point out there that does that technically make Christy Quinlan the South Pro Hardcore Champion? I'm just asking. I'm just putting that out there.
It's definitely there's a case to be made.
There is a case to be made for that to be a thing. Just saying.
What I will say about this match was, because I like I say, there's so few spots that I can actually recall, although we've got a lot of been clips. No, there was a spot. Pud. Yeah. Pud gave a flying drop kick. Well, a running drop kick. To I can't remember who. I think it was to Jack or to it was one of the Jacks, one of the 3 Jacks, and it was stunning. We got the perfect view of it, and it was one of those moves. It's like that has got to be part of your business now, man. That was like Roman Reigns shit. It looked really, really fucking good. Do more of that. And he like spotted it. He's like, meat, getting the chant going. So we all did a meat chant. Najay was eating cakes.
During
because it's big boy season. He's got it.
Yeah, he had 2 cakes on the go.
Cakes.
No.
used one as a weapon against Uncle Ryan, who was just like a fucking fly to shit around that goddamn lift. He wouldn't go away.
Christy decided that he's, you know what, screw this lift business again, because it stopped working once again.
Oh no, it wasn't that. It hadn't come back down yet.
He hadn't come back down, but he had to take. So he eliminated someone by taking him up the fucking stairs. So we'll see what happens there when the video comes out. That'll be good. That
was Salford Jack that he dragged off upstairs.
Was that Salford Jack?
Dragged him out. Like it was like a cross mum who just found their kid at like a rave. The way he marched him out of the room.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
That had happened to him before. He basically grabbed him by the ear. May as well have.
Yeah.
In the end, VGS were able to get the win with Casey Payne and Tommy Jackson standing as the last men standing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, was it just Casey Payne? Because Tommy Jackson and Salford Jack, no, they got eliminated together.
Yeah.
They got pushed in.
It's Casey, really. And
it's Casey who got the final win.
Also, just because why not add a little bit more chaos in here? Remember we mentioned that Lance is in this. Partway through, the lift comes down. And Lance is nearby the lift, and the door flies open, and Isaac North is there, and he has like this blood comes out of his mouth, and Lance is like, oh shit, and he just grabs him, throws him into the lift, and takes him off because Lance will be facing Isaac for his title. So during that all of that, we have Isaac North come down like a big scary monster, just emerge from the lift and just drags Lance off.
So it's weird.
It was chaos.
The second time at an Infamous show where there was a match where my mouth was, my cheeks, my face was killing me afterwards because it was just so much fun.
It was a brilliant, it was a genuinely brilliant way to end such a fun, exciting show. I want to shout out Tommy Jackson's new cutter that he used.
Yes, he busted out.
I'm sure, I think he's still coming up with a name for it, but keep an eye out for that. That was juicy. It was really nice. And at the very end, though VGS came out, the victors, there did seem to be a little bit of disagreement, tension going on at the end with the quintessential lads kind of being like, yeah, they were kind of being like, what the fuck, guys? Because I think they felt like it didn't go the way they wanted it to. Obviously, Christy got hit by Casey by accident, and then when one of them got eliminated, it was just kind of, typical little bit of friction there. But they all seemed to kind of be all right by the end. They were like, they upped it out a little bit.
Stopped off, however, behind the scenes, and I believe there's a promo coming.
Something. So we'll see. We'll have to see when we do see if anybody says anything. Then we will share it. But yeah, that was Infamous. Stand your ground and fight. And fucking hell, my voice by the end of the show was gone.
Yeah.
It was completely gone.
We were all Barry Whiting on the way home. Big deep voice. You
can tell on the videos as they go along, as I've shared them on like Insta and TikTok, my voice just going, gone. Someone's even commented like,
yeah.
Your voice gone. Like, completely. Yeah. So another strong show. It's our third Infamous.
It's been a hit.
Enjoyed it. It was a perfect show to start our live shows off with. So
very much so.
Yeah. Hope to get to their one in April. Surgery depending for me. But like, if you have not yet been to an Infamous, please do just take yourself to Runcorn. I know. Go to Runcorn and enjoy yourself and watch Infamous, and then you will thank us later, I promise.
You will. It's you will not be mistaken.
I was going to say, should we talk about what we're doing at weekend?
Well, yeah, nice. Because the Pip crew are going to be together.
Road trip.
It's going to be a thing, Petter.
We're going to get in the pencil car.
Yeah. The penmobile.
The pencil sharpener.
Yes. We're in the pencil case.
It's our triple powerbomb finishing move.
But we are headed.
The eraser.
We're headed to Warrington,
St. Benedict's for OTP off the Page Wrestling. This is our second show. Originally, it was brought to our attention by both yourself, producer Petter, and our friend Miles.
Yes.
Who will be there also. Very exciting. Shout out. And we went and had a fucking blast last year.
And so as soon as they announced this, which was at that show,
Yeah.
so it's Wrestling Street. As soon as they announced that show, we were pretty much like,
we have to go.
Yeah, we have to go to this.
I have to have it.
So yeah, that's going to be a fun one. That's on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got, let me get the card up here. Hang on. There has been a change to the card.
Okay.
So we were supposed to be getting Session Moth, but due to personal reasons, she will no longer be attending, and our love goes out to Session Moth.
Absolutely.
And we don't know. What's going to be happening. But we just send our love out to Session Moth. Let me just get it up here. Right, so currently we have got we've got NAF versus the 05, and the 05 are popping up. They just popped up on my radar all of a sudden over the last couple of months. I'm seeing them popping up everywhere. I saw a promo from them a couple of weeks back. Brand new to them, so I'm looking forward to seeing them. And then NAF is Joey Hayes and
can't remember his name.
Forgot his name. I'm so sorry.
He's new to us still. Still learning in the indie scene. We're still gathering people. We know a lot, but we're gathering more.
And then we've got Leon Gray has invited Prince Pele to discuss their friendship because there's a whole thing going on there. So that's going to be drams. Excited.
Leon Gray will bring his shorts again.
And listen, Pele, you can stand on your own 2 feet, babe. You don't need that kind of shit in your life. Anyway, we've also got the Wrestling Street Rumble. Which, like, come on, that's going to be so much fun. I love a bloody rumble.
'Tis the season, you need a rumble.
I'm going to say it, AJ, better be in the rumble and he better win it. That's it. I'm just saying it, or I'll quite politely write it. And then we've got Max Brooker versus our guy, cool guy, lots of friends. It's Ian Skinner for the OTP Championship. And he's going to come back with a lovely new title to go on that yellow shelf of his with the egg.
I mean, I certainly hope so.
Fingers crossed.
I like Max Brooker a lot. I've seen a lot more of him since our last show.
Yeah.
So
it's going to
be a really good fucking match. I know it's going to be a great show. Good vibes all around. So
yeah,
let's see what happens.
And I believe Joe from Damn It Bacon's going to be there as well. And we've all agreed to politely tut Riot if Skinner doesn't win. And I think it's mostly just going to be a collective loud tut and maybe like a bit of a. So don't worry, we're not going to trash the place.
Down with this sort of thing.
Yeah, boo, boo that.
Now.
But yeah, so and we're very excited to kind of
get back to
come get you, go watch a show with you, man. I think the last time we saw a show together was Progress.
Yes.
Nappy came down. Yeah.
I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
And the name you were searching for is Drill.
Thank you. I knew it. I knew it began with a D, but I just didn't want to be like D.
So yeah.
Just like that.
I'm going to make a point of apologising. Something we spoke about in our break was I did say I was like it's going to mostly be the indie stuff, but we got going on the Rumble and we just rolled on that Rumble. So what I'm going to put it in thingy next time. I think we start at least the recording session. We talk about the Infamous and all that stuff because then we get that flow. But those shows, the show that we saw last weekend was fucking incredible. We're very, very lucky. And I know the rest of this year it's just going to keep going better and better because Brit Res is just constantly improving and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's so cool to see. Next
week is as well. You've got For the Love of Wrestling, which has got For the Love of Progress. And then isn't there also a Futureshock on the 15th of February?
There is. For the Love of Progress on Friday night, to which I still need to get me tickets for, but I will be there. Then we have Futureshock Breaks Convention 5.
Yep.
The only match we know of, other than the Invitational Rumble, is... Oh, sorry, I tell a lie. We do know matches. I just can't remember them. But it is Lizzie Evo versus Lily Winter for the Futureshock Women's title.
Good.
There is, I think it's Team Sonny Ono versus Team D'Lo Brown.
Oh, yeah,
D'Lo
yeah.
will be making a return.
Yeah, that's... I'm so jealous about that.
Yeah.
Tajiri's in that, right?
I've just remembered. And for the Adrenaline Championship, it is Scott Oberman defending his recently won title against Heath Slater.
Oh, wow.
So that will
Shame
be...
he doesn't have his hair
That
still.
will be interesting.
Well, Oh, go on. Sorry.
Oh, I just have extra things to talk about, so I will let you finish.
Oh, no, I was just going to say the For the Love of Progress show as well. That looks like it's going to be a really good card. We've got Holly Barlow versus Lana Austin. That's going to be fun. That's going to be good. Mycos Jim versus Nico and Connor Mills.
Oh, real shit.
Baby Angels are going to die. One called Manders versus Tate Mayfairs. This is such a good card. Manlight DeReese versus Richard Holiday.
The snitch.
Oh, man. And then you've got Simon Miller versus Charles Crowley. Oh, my God. This card was literally made for me. And I'm not going. And so the Potter's title, so that's voted, Simon's kind of thing, is that the stip or rule for the match will be voted for on social media. And the choices were submission or
WWE finish.
No, so it was either you could win by WWE finisher or by or no striking. I think was the other one. Sorry, I was trying to figure out the two options. Ultimately, obviously, everyone chose WWE finish. So I'm going to say one of them wins with the Blue Thunder Bomb.
I'm thinking roll up, but yes, it's going to be those two.
And before anyone goes, a roll up isn't a finisher. Xavier Woods made it his finisher for a while. It was the backwards, so it is a finisher. And I'm saying that now because immediately I said it, and Charlie was like, "It's not a finisher. It was a finisher.
It was a finisher. It was a finisher."
Also, I used it as a finisher on WWE SmackDown.
There you go. It's an official finisher.
It is a finisher.
So it is a finisher. And then you've got Nina Samuels versus Emerson James for the Progress Women's World Championship.
Very good.
And then the main event is the Young Guns versus Subculture.
Again, great card.
Nice. That's going to be... I'm jealous of everybody who is spending their Valentine's Day with Progress. That's at the Bowlers. We were supposed to be a South Pro.
I know.
True. But yeah, that's happening at the Bowlers Arena in Manchester / Salford, Trafford, whatever.
And anyone that is going, I would advise you to take a coat. Because
it's cold in there.
Fucking freezing in there on a Friday night.
Yeah.
As I made the mistake last year of taking the world's thinnest jacket.
Oh,
and it's one of the coldest days.
And the area is not very forgiving either, is it?
It's
like it's so close. It's cold area. But there's some really great Brit Res happening again this weekend and next week. So
and the only two bits of news I have is good news. Salford City Wrestling sold out their upcoming show.
Hey, we love to hear it.
Very good.
Where the main event so far is local lad Jack Johnson.
Nice.
Taking on the King of Salford after the opening show they did in Troy Ryan. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
There are other matches, but I will save that for nearer the time.
Yes.
Very good.
We need to get to a Salford City rest at some
Yeah,
point. We do.
And a match that has been announced, I say in the last hour, it was probably about 3 hours ago when I saw this, at Bridge Pro, where I am heading on March 14th. And one of the main events at least, is Jordan versus Jordan. Rematch from the first ever Bridge Pro show.
Okay,
Where,
cool.
and also, other than sibling rivalry, it was the last two entrants of the over-the-top Bridge Pro Rumble, whatever.
Of course.
Yeah.
As Brandon Jordan takes on his sister, Chantel Jordan.
Nice.
And if it's anything like the first match and how the Rumble ended, it will be a banger.
Love it.
Fuck yeah. That's such an interesting dynamic. I'd love to see that.
But again, more on Bridge nearer the time.
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
And yeah, we'll talk about we'll be talking all about Off the Page on our next one, won't we? And whatever else crops up that we watch in that
all
time.
the fun stuff. But until that time, same bad time. No, it's somebody else. That's Batman.
Yeah.
Shit. No, it's been lovely as always, Mr. Producer Petter. Thank you very much.
It's lovely to see you and your ghost.
You're gonna get shut down, man.
Don't you'll get us.
No swearing.
That is my bad, Peter Hausen. Right. Until next time.
Thank you so much for joining us, and tell us what wrestling you're watching.
Yes, please do.
And cheesy rom-com wave. Sitcom.
I'll do.